published 7:57 Eastern Daylight Saving Time, the 11th of May 2018, updated 9:18 Eastern Daylight Saving Time, the 11th of May 2018. The UFC returns to Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, for its fifth pay-per-view of the year as Amanda Nunes makes the third defense of her bantamweight title against top contender Raquel Pennington. The Brazilian, who dispatched Ronda Rousey in 48 seconds, is on a 6-fight win streak and is looking to set up a mega fight with Cris Cyborg with a win here on her home turf. Here, Sports Mail takes you through the action on the main card. Amanda Nunes, left, takes on Raquel Pennington in the main event of UFC 224 on Saturday. Bantamweight Championship night's headline act will see dominant bantamweight champion Nunes return to fight in Brazil for the first time since capturing the gold back in 2016. The ferocious striker and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt destroyed Messi at UFC 200 to win the belt before doing the same to Rousey in her first defense. However, her aura of invincibility was damaged somewhat in her last fight, edging a closely contested split decision against Valentina Shevchenko, a fight many thought she may have lost. Nunes, left, is aiming to make the third defense of her championship in her home country. Amanda Nunes vs Raquel Pennington, Ronaldo Souza vs Kelvin Gastelum, Mackenzie Dern vs Amanda Cooper, John Lineker vs Brian Kelleher, Vitor Belfort vs Lyoto Machida, Cesar Ferreira vs Carl Roberson, Oleksiy Oleinik vs Junior Albinadavi, Ramos vs Nick Heinel, dos Santos vs Sean Strickland, Wally Alves vs Sultanelio Thales, Lights vs Jack Hermanson. With a division lacking contenders, Nunes now finds herself up against number 2 ranked Pennington, who has not competed inside the octagon since beating Tate at UFC 205 over 17 months ago. While Nunes is clearly a favorite, this is a closer fight than the odds would have you believe. Pennington is one of the most improved fighters in the promotion over recent years, using her impressive striking and wrestling to rack up 4 wins in a row on her way to a shot at the title. Nonetheless, Nunes will be hoping to put on another dominant display to set up a showdown with featherweight champion and fellow Brazilian Cyborg, a bout that has the potential to be the most explosive in the history of women's MMA at middleweight. When it comes to the most competitive fight of the night, it's hard to look past the co-main event, which features top middleweights Ronaldo, Jaquer Souza and Kelvin Gastelum. Jaquer is up there with the best fighters never to have had a title shot in the UFC, but victory here should change that. The Brazilian has won 11 of his last 13 fights, but saw his title charge derailed when he was knocked out by now reigning champion Robert Whittaker last year. Middleweight contenders Ronaldo Souza, left, and Kelvin Gastelum square off in the co-main. However, the 38-year-old rebounded with an emphatic finish of Derek Brunson earlier this year and is right back in the mix in what is a relatively light division, but he must get past another man who has his sights set on the gold, the always game Gastelum. The American is fresh off the back of his first-round knockout of former champ Michael Bisping and has been making waves since his return to 185 pounds. This is a great matchup. Both men are competent strikers with the power to knock out anyone, while it will be interesting to see Souza's phenomenal Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu collides with Gastelum's wrestling. Middleweight, 2 of Brazil's biggest MMA legends will kick off the main card as Vitor Belfort looks to close his legendary career out against the veteran Lyoto Machida. Both former UFC champions are on the verge of retirement and get the chance here to perform in front of their own people one last time. The twilight of the careers have followed almost identical paths, both ending 3-fight losing streaks with decision victories in the last outings. While both have slowed down hugely and lost the chins, you have to fancy Belfort, who still retains that famous knockout power. Either way, it will be fun to watch two of the greats go toe-to-toe.